It was like push, wait, and then push, and it was just whew. And the baby comes out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and like and share this video. So today I am finally sharing my birth story. I am not giving any advice. I am simply sharing my own personal experience. Oh my gosh, where do I begin? So I just want to start off by saying that if you have been following me for a while, and if you've watched my actual birth video, that I did end up choosing to go a different direction midway through my pregnancy, and I chose to have an unassisted birth at home in the water of my beautiful twin girls that are now almost 3 months old. They're 11 weeks tomorrow, so 3 months next week. And we'll be talking about that a lot more and why I chose to do that and go in a different direction than the direction that I was originally going in. And I will be talking about that a lot more on my channel. But for today, I want to start by sharing my story just the way it was and how the birth went, because I feel it's been enough time now where I've been able to process my birth, but also not too much time to the point where I will start forgetting some of the details of what happened. So I went to 40 weeks in my pregnancy, and I was beginning to feel extremely uncomfortable for obvious reasons. And I remember the day that I woke up, which was April 7th, so the day before actually giving birth. I woke up that morning and I just felt like super blah. I hadn't had any other signs or signals that the birth was starting other than just, the time that I was at in my birth. I didn't have any, other than Braxton Hicks, I didn't have any prodromal labor. My water never broke. There was no bleeding, no nothing. It was really just that I just woke up that day and I just felt super blah. And I was sort of waiting for some kind of sign or signal that things were going to be starting, and nothing was happening. And so I was sort of just like, oh my God, how is this going to start? It's not beginning. And I got a really, really amazing piece of advice from my doula, who I had seen the day prior. And her and I sat out front and in my front yard, and we drank tea and we talked, and it was so beautiful and the sun was shining. And I remember her saying to me a really good piece of advice, which is, when you think that your birthing time is starting, just be in denial about it. Because if you have that first sign that it might be starting, and you put too much mental energy into, oh my God, it's starting, then you're putting a lot and spending a lot of energy on that. And the most important thing with birth is that you want to save your energy. You want to conserve your energy so that you'll have energy later on for pushing, and then of course giving birth, and then having the babies, and then, forever after that, basically. So I very clearly remember her saying, when you do feel something, just be in denial, just go on with your day, keep on doing whatever, maybe clean a little or rest and take a nap, just don't dive into, oh my God, I'm going into my birthing time right now. So this was really fresh in my mind from the day before. And I was really feeling super blah, like especially blah. I said to Matisse on that morning, I said, ugh, I just want to stay in bed all day today. Can you just look after Safi? I just want to eat all my meals in bed. I just want to watch bad TV, and I don't want to just leave my bed today. I just want to stay here and just rest. And he's like, yeah, of course, go for it. And I can remember at one point kind of going down the stairs during the middle of the day and sort of leaning on the counter, sort of like, oh, like, it's something, I feel off, like, ugh, I just feel blah, I feel gross, ugh. And coming back up the stairs, and then sort of suddenly, oh, I'm missing one part, actually. And then, I was just feeling like super ready for it to start. I was pretty over it at that point. And I actually got a text from my osteopath because I had told her to keep me on the cancellation list if anything came up. So I got a message from my osteopath saying, hey, there's an opening tomorrow at 11:15. Do you want to come in for the appointment? And I actually texted her back and I said, yes, I'll take it. Is there any way that you can get things going? Because I was so over being pregnant. I was like, maybe she knows a pressure point or something that she can just, gently push things to start happening. And anyway, so I had agreed to go in, and that was around, oh my God, let me check. Yeah, I had agreed to go in, but I made sure to say, hey, just FYI, if anything starts up like in the middle of the night, can I cancel last minute? And she's like, yeah, of course, I can't think of a better reason why you'd want to cancel. And that was on Wednesday, April 7th at 4 o'clock, basically. So, and I can see here, I keep saying, oh, I'm so done. I had this osteopath appointment set up for the next day, whatever. I was really looking forward to that. And I was just sort of starting to feel like something was happening. There was some changes. I was kind of getting the crampy sensation that I had been feeling, but it was in more of a rhythm. It was coming and going. It wasn't just, oh, I have a cramp and then it lasts for a certain period of time and that's it. This was more, had a pattern to it. It was coming on and then going and coming on and going. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is it. But also, again, wanted to stay in denial about the fact that it could be happening because I didn't want to dive into, oh my God, is it happening? So I didn't think too much of it and sort of kept on going on, but started obsessively cleaning our house, obsessively. Folding laundry, putting this away, putting that away, doing this, doing that. Just cleaning as much as possible. And I think I was doing that in avoidance of having to, that was just part of the denial, really, of not wanting to dive into it too much and just avoiding the feelings that were coming up. So I kept doing that, and I didn't mention anything to Matisse because I really wasn't sure if it was happening. So I really didn't want to excite him. But by the time we were putting Safi to bed, which is around 7 o'clock, I fully knew that my birthing time had started. So that was about 3 hours. I think it started around 4:30. So it was about two or 3 hours of it kind of slowly coming on, feeling the pressure waves, the contractions. It sort of was escalating, I guess. It was getting stronger. It had been happening for a longer period of time. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is actually happening now. And when I was putting Safi down to bed, I was having full-blown contractions. I was, starting to make noises. I was, being there for her and breathing through the contractions that I was finding to be pretty painful. and it was starting. Like, I knew that it was it. And it was so funny because I had started a movie that afternoon, and I just kept on remember thinking to myself, oh, I just want to like chill. I just want to lie down and like watch this movie. I don't want my labor to be starting right now. Because you always want it to start. Well, I really wanted it to start. And then once you start feeling, or once I started feeling, you know, those feelings of the contractions, I was like, oh God, no, stop now. So I was, putting Safi down to bed. And then I finally said to Matisse, you know, I'm pretty sure that it's starting now. And he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. And he was actually not even really convinced, because I was being so chill about it that he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, it's happening. And he's like, okay, well, we'll see where this goes. And, so yeah, finally put Safi down to bed. I can remember telling Matisse that I was hungry and I wanted to have some dinner, because I didn't actually eat. I had had lunch, and like a little snack, but I knew that if I was going to be going into my birthing time, that I should eat something really nutritious. So I asked for him to make me some dinner, and he went downstairs at that point, and by the time he came back upstairs with the food, I absolutely did not want to eat it whatsoever. Couldn't even look at it. I had completely lost my appetite, and I didn't want to watch my movie at all anymore. I was just like, no, I can't. I don't want to do this. And then I sent a text to my osteopath and I said, exact word for word, at 7:38, I said, sorry, I have to cancel, already having lots of sensations. And she was like, sending good vibes and lots of love. So yeah, so I knew, I must have known that it was like fully happening, and I was going in for sure. So yeah, from there, it was just, it's so crazy, because it feels like I mean, I know that it was such a long period of time, but it feels like it went by so fast. Like those hours were going by so slow when I was in it, but now I'm like, whoa, that went by in the blink of an eye. So I was just having contractions like back to back to back, and they were intense contractions. They weren't like measly little feel nothing type of contractions. They were intense. They were hard. I was making a lot of noise. It was the only way I could handle them. I could deal with them, was just by making noise. I really didn't know what else to do. And so Matisse texted our doula and told her Caitlin's birthing time has started. And even still, when I told him, okay, text her that it started, he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, text her, just let her know. She doesn't have to come right now, just let her know. Because I really didn't know how long it was going to be, because my birth with Safia was quite long. So I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I didn't want her coming too soon. If it was going to be like super, super, super long time. I wanted her to come when it was really, really like intense. So yeah, but it was intense. It was intense from, I remember being loud and just, oh my God, the contractions, they were so strong. And then I got in the bath, and I remember laying down in the bath, trying to get comfortable, trying to find and figure out what positions felt good to be in. And there wasn't a lot of, I wasn't finding a lot of relief, although I loved being in the water. So I can remember having sort of thoughts about like, oh, maybe I should text this person and let them know what's happening. Or I remember even thinking like, oh, I should take a quick video of myself, right now, so that I have this, for the future to look at. And I just couldn't bring myself to do any of it. All I could do was just be there and focus on getting through the contractions. And yeah, got out of the bath. And then our doula said that we should, we should rest as much as possible. And so I tried to lie down in the bed, and it was just so incredibly uncomfortable. But poor Matisse, of course, at this point it was probably like, I want to say like 10 or 11. Matisse is getting tired and he wants to sleep and rest. And I'm just like going through it, like just feeling everything. And yeah, I just couldn't have him sleep. Like, as much as I wanted him to be rested for the both of us, I just needed his hand to hold so badly. And yeah, it just kept going on and on and on. And then somehow it reached the point. Yeah, so then I remember that going on till about 12 o'clock. So midnight. At this point, I'm like yelling. I'm just, it was the only thing I can do to get through it, is just to be very vocal, and I'm like screaming, and just, yeah, feeling it. I can remember saying, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I still had a lot of resistance at this point of not wanting to be in it really and progress. As much as I was over being pregnant, I also didn't want to be in this like birthing time anymore. And yeah, had major resistance during that part of the birth. And so yeah, feeling like I wasn't really letting it progress. And yeah, but I also loved the freedom of knowing that I was making my own choices on what I wanted to do. Okay, I want to go sit down here. Okay, I want to go down on the floor. Okay, I want to go over here. It was all like very autonomous and making my own choices. And really listening to the guidance that was going to make me feel better. And so at around 12:30, Safia wakes up because I'm being so loud, and I'm in here, right here in the bedroom, and Safia is in her room, which is just close by to us, and I'm yelling and screaming, and I wake her up because I'm being so loud, and she runs over and she's so excited. She's like, "Are the babies coming? Are the babies coming?" And we're like, "Yeah, they're coming." And she was just with me. She was with me. She would hug me during my contractions. She would, just even put like her hand on me, and it was so lovely to have her there. And this was the most important thing in this birth that I wanted, was for Safia to be there to witness me going through this, and to be there for the birth of her siblings. So it was just so beautiful to have her be a part of this process. And we had really prepped her ahead of time and told her, mommy's going to be really loud. I'm going to be making loud noises, and I'm going to be, saying a lot of bad words potentially. And it doesn't mean I'm in pain. It just means that I'm, processing and opening up and helping the babies come out. And that's just what we kept telling her for months and months and months ahead of time, was it's just mommy getting the babies out, and it just takes time for the babies for my body to open like a flower. And that's what I kept on telling her, or what we kept on telling her. So she was very well mentally prepped beforehand. And and that was what I was really focusing on, was just, I just kept on coming. I had done months and months of birthing affirmations every night before bed. So I kept on coming back to those and just saying, my body knows how to do this. I am safe. My body's just opening up and making space for the babies to come out. And, every time I would say, I need help, help me, save me, I need to be saved, I always immediately got the voice in my head that came in that said, only you can save yourself. Only you can help yourself. And that was extremely powerful to witness, and it really got me through that. And I had made my own birth affirmations that I had lined up around the pool, and yeah, I just kept on coming back to those and but particular things that came up that weren't even necessarily on the birthing affirmations, but were just kind of coming from within me, were really powerful. And then around, I want to say 1:30, 2 o'clock, I said to Matisse, I said, you have to set up the birthing pool right now. It's like happening. I know it. Like, I'm in my birth for sure. Like, I was out of denial at this point. I'm like, okay, I really actually think this is happening now after like so many hours. And I finally had snapped out of the denial. I was still feeling resistant to the pain though, or the sensations. And I said to him, it's time to call the doula. So, and he's like, are you sure? I don't want her to come too early. And I was like, yeah, it's time. You have to call her now. So he called our doula, and he sort of like just calls her, and it's 2 a.m. And so she's waking up, and he didn't really even have to say anything. She could just hear me in the background, like just yelling and screaming. And yeah, I think she was like, all right, well, I'm gonna head over now. So crazy, because we were just together the day before, so it was just wild. And so I remember hearing her say she'd be here in like 15 or 20 minutes, and I was thinking, oh my God, I don't even know how I'm gonna make it until she gets here. You know, like thinking that far ahead was just so long, and yeah, it was just, oh man, just getting through it. So when my doula got here and I saw her face, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. And she made all the difference being here, just having her energy and her presence and her wisdom. And it just instantly made everything feel much easier. She was able to look after Safia because Safia was awake in the middle of the night. But this was a special occasion, so it was important that she was there. Even though I kept on saying, go to sleep, Safia, go to sleep. And but she was just so excited. She kept thinking it was gonna happen, so she just wanted to stay awake. Yeah, so he set the pool up, and I remember just dipping just my big toe in the water and just thinking, oh, this is exactly where I want to be right now. And I got in the water, and it just felt so good. It was such a game changer. It was the best. I was able to kind of find a corner and a position where I didn't really want to move from, and I just wanted to be in that one place and just labor and go through it and you know, just go through it, just allow things to open and just allow it to happen, you know. So that was where I wanted to be, and I was there for quite a while. And I remember thinking, yeah, I remember feeling like, oh, it's not going anywhere. Nothing's happening because my water wasn't breaking, and I wasn't having anything else happen other than just the contractions. So yeah, I sort of like was feeling like, oh, where's it going? And it was so nice having our doula there, because I was able to just hold onto her hand. She was saying the loveliest things to me, and it was just so helpful. I also had an electrolyte mixture that I had made, and she was just in between every single contraction. Matisse And the doula were giving me a sip of water, which was so nice. So I was staying super hydrated, and yeah, we were just going through it. I remember Safia was just wanted to be close. She just wanted to sit in front and just like witness me, which was really cool and exactly what I wanted her to experience. And Matisse was there, and he was just there witnessing what I was going through. And yeah, it was really beautiful. And I remember feeling like oh, where's it going? And kind of, oh, I'm done with this. Oh, I want it to be done. And our doula saying, she said, oh yeah, and I was saying, oh, I can't do this. And she said, you are doing it. And that was the most powerful thing that I could have heard ever. It was the most powerful thing that she said that, because I really needed to hear that. It's like, I was saying I can't do this, but this is what I'm doing. This is right now. I am doing it. I am going through this. So, and that saying, you are doing it, is something that I have carried on into being now a twin mom. Anytime my brain goes, I can't do this, I'm like, Caitlin, you are doing it. So powerful. And then I was like, oh, I'm so done with this, blah, blah. And she said, and then my doula said, sometimes we have to go to the places that we don't want to go to in order to progress. And I knew when she said that she was right, but I totally didn't want to go there. I was still resisting what I was feeling and the pain. And I think she was picking up on that. And so when she said that, I was like, yeah, I know you're right. I don't want you to be right, but I know you're right. And I needed to feel and not fight the contractions anymore. I needed to feel them and allow them to do their work and allow it to move through me and not fight it anymore. So when she said that, I was like, yeah, okay, you're right. So I started to do that. I started to get into it, because there's nothing else you can do. I'm going through this labor. What am I going to do? I guess then at this point, sort of in my first pregnancy or my first labor with Safia, this is the point, at this point, where I was like, okay, I want to go to the hospital. I'm done. I'm not progressing. What do? I need to go to the hospital. I need drugs. I need this. I don't want to be in pain anymore. And that was that point that I had reached it there. And in this labor, and I knew that I needed to just go through it and just be like, like a rock on the edge of the ocean that just had water coming at it time and time again. I just, the waves were just coming and coming, the pressure waves were coming, and I just needed the waves to just slowly have me disintegrate, basically, is the only way I can really describe it. Is I just needed to be broken down, really broken down. And the one place I really didn't want to be was in the bathroom on the toilet. I knew that that's where things were really going to start progressing, and it would really get things going. But I so didn't want to go there. But I was like, okay, I'm either going to be in labor for another who knows how long, or I can just go to the place that I really don't want to go to, which is that feeling of really intense sensations. So I finally get out of the bath, of the birthing tub, and walking over to the bathroom is an ordeal. It's taking me a long time. I'm feeling lots of feelings. It's it takes like 15 minutes to walk 10 steps to the bathroom because I'm having so many contractions, and having the contractions and resting and breathing in between the contractions and taking that rest. That's why your body gives you that rest, so that you can, can go on and go on to the next contraction. It's so brilliant, really. It's the way that it's set up is it's so that you can imagine if it was just consistent contraction pain the whole time. I mean, that would just be so painful. So the fact that you get those breaks in between the contractions is really brilliant. So taking the breaks, resting my head. Okay, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to go to the bathroom now. We get into the bathroom and I sit down in the toilet, and it's just the most intense contractions ever. So painful. Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. And I just knew that that's where I needed to be, and I needed to go through it, and it was intense. And the craziest thing happened. Safia runs into the bathroom out of nowhere and says to me, keep in mind, we didn't know the genders or the sex of the babies. And Safia runs in the bathroom and she goes, my sisters are coming. Unbelievable. And I'm, holding onto the towel rack. I'm naked. The last thing I wanted was clothes on me. Ugh, any article of clothing. I was like, no. I was sort of wearing like a necklace. Oh, take it off. I don't want it. I just want to be naked. I just wanted to be, feel free from any limitations. I just didn't want anything confining me. And I think things really did progress in the washroom there. It was intense. And the reason why the washroom is a place where the dilation station is because that's a place that we're so used to releasing in. So it really helps things escalate, and I felt that intensely, even though it was so hard to be in there. So then I just wanted to go back to the water. I don't know how long I was in the washroom for, but it felt like forever. I just wanted to go back to like my warm place in the water, and I was starting to get really tired. At this point, it's probably 7 or 8 in the morning. My eyes are starting to close, but I'm going through every contraction. And then once the contractions were done, I would just rest my eyes and almost fall asleep in between every contraction. I was so tired. And actually at this point, Safi went to sleep around 5 in the morning. She actually came into our bed and she just laid down and went back to sleep, which was really nice for her to just go get some rest. And Matisse, of course, is super tired too. I think he went to lay down with her for a little bit just to get some shut-eye. And I was with my doula, and it was like, I just remember the contractions, like when they would start to come up, I would just reach my hand out like this, and she would come over and hold my hand, or Matisse would come over and hold my hand, and I just needed someone's hand to hold on to just get through the contractions. And at this point, I had really started to surrender more, and I wasn't resisting as much, and I was deep in it, I think at this point, I wasn't talking anymore. Not that I was talking very much during it anyways, but I really, really wasn't talking. And it just kept going on, and I kept going through it, and I was being reminded, this is a safe space, you're safe. And my doula kept bringing warm water to heat the water that I was in, which was so nice. And yeah, it was just sort of exactly where I was meant to be, doing exactly what I was meant to be doing. And I needed that reminder over and over and over again. You know, you're safe, you're in a safe space. And I felt very safe and private, and free, and just like listening to myself. And then hours passed, hours and hours passed, and this was sort of maybe more around 10:30 in the morning now, and I can see that it's the next day, and the our doula closed the blinds so that we couldn't see outside, and it was just completely dark still in our space, which was just right back here, right through these doors where I gave birth. And I was feeling very tired, just tired. I was done, and I remember looking over at her and saying, I'm tired. And she's like, you're working so hard, you're doing such an amazing job, you're so safe, everything you're feeling is safe. And I was like, I'm just so done, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this anymore. And I kept checking to see if I could feel the baby, if I was feeling anything, and I hadn't been feeling anything for a really long time, and so I actually stopped checking to see if I was feeling anything, because it was really I just would not make me feel good every time I would check and I wouldn't feel something. So I stopped checking to see if I was feeling the babies coming, because it was just so upsetting every time I was like, oh no, there's no babies coming yet. So I remember very specifically, I don't know how, the timing is so weird, it's hard to describe, but I remember turning to my doula and Matisse were sitting right in front of me, and I just looked at them and I said, I feel like I'm dying. And the crazy part was that when I said that, I was actually going through transition, which means that I was going into the pushing stage of my labor. And when I look back on it, I realized that actually the person that I was up until that point had died, was dying. And that was the pain that I was feeling, was that I was becoming a new person. I was becoming a new mother, a mother to now 3 children, 3 babies. And that person that I was before was now gone, and I was now becoming a new person. I was in transition, and I said those exact words at that exact time, which is so powerful, so powerful. And then I had started pushing. Actually, now when I think about it, I had started pushing a little bit earlier on, before I was maybe in exact transition, but the pushing actually felt good. I prefer to push my way through the contractions rather than feel the contractions during this time, and it felt better to me. I wasn't having any cervical checks or anything done, so it was all based on my body's guidance to know when to start pushing. It wasn't like, oh, you're 9-10 centimeters, you can start pushing now. It was all off my own guidance of being like, okay, I'm ready to start pushing now. I have no idea how dilated I was or anything like that. It was all just purely, this is what feels good now. So I began pushing. That felt much better. Felt like I was doing something. I was ready to start just pushing out the babies. I was ready. This is what I felt that I wanted to do. So I was doing that for a while. And then, but that was before 10:30. I think that was more probably like, I was pushing for a while, a few hours for sure. And that's just what I felt guided to do. And then I said the thing about I said I feel like I'm dying, which I think was very powerful because it wasn't in a literal way. It was in a spiritual way. And then quite soon after that, my doula came over to me, and you know, at this point I'm done. I'm tired. I'm defeated. I you know, I'm just in it. I'm just in it. It could go on for so much longer. I don't know anything, you know, I'm just doing it. That's it. And my doula came over and said, how was that last contraction for you? And I go, intense. And she goes, I think I just saw something. You might want to check and see if you feel something. And I was like, you did? Like in absolute shock. You saw something? You did? And so I go down and I reach down and I felt the sack. And this just turned everything around. I was so happy. I was so relieved. Finally, I was getting somewhere. You know, it felt like I was climbing to the top of this mountain, but I was never getting to the top. I wasn't even seeing the top. Now I felt like I could see the top of the mountain, and I was like, I'm just gonna go right up to the top. And from there, I just pushed. I was pushing, and I got all my energy back, and I just pushed and pushed and pushed. And then, the sack was getting closer and closer. I could feel it getting closer and closer down, coming out, and I could feel it coming. And then there's the head. And I remember saying, hi, baby, or hi. And then pushing, and then sort of, I almost want to describe it like a Venus flytrap. Like it literally, I felt like I just went like this, and the head is out. And I'm very calm. I'm very trusting. I have felt no fear whatsoever. I knew, oh man, it felt so amazing. It was just like exactly what I just needed to. I was in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. Like it just felt so right. And and Safi, oh my god, I forgot the craziest part of this whole thing. When we finally, so Safi did wake up around, I want to say 7 or 8 o'clock, and she went downstairs with my mother-in-law, and so she was downstairs for a few hours, but she actually, without any of us telling her, when I really started pushing in the end there and I started to feel the babies, she actually came up the stairs and just knew that it was time. She came right in. We didn't have to call her, oh, hey, the babies are coming. She knew it was time. She came up the stairs and she came and she was there, which was my dream to have her there. And I remember saying to her, the babies are coming. I'm so excited. Are you so excited? And she was so excited. And so anyways, that happened. And then, okay, back to pushing. I'm pushing. And so I feel the head come out first. And I'm calm and I'm resting in between the contraction. And then the next contraction starts to come up. And then I just instinctually push again, and I'm pretty sure the whole body came out in 2 pushes. It was like push, wait, and then push, and it was just whoo. And the baby comes out, and I'm like, and I can hear Safi going, oh, it's a baby. And she's like, oh my goodness. And I pick up the baby and I'm holding her like this. And she's not making any sounds. And I'm like, oh my God, where's the cry? There's no cry. And so that sort of worried me for a second, but I could hear her breathing, so I knew she was totally fine. And I flip her over, and she has a little bit of meconium around her nose. So I just instinctually sucked it out of her nose, spat it in the water, sucked it out again, spat it in the water, and she's just looking at me, and she's breathing, and she's healthy, and she's just so beautiful, just right there, just looking right at me, just so present. And it was just, it's just so, I don't, it was just so mind-blowing. I couldn't even believe it. And she was so perfect, and I can remember just feeling so happy that I had just birthed this baby. And yeah, just she just transitioned so well into breathing, and it was so beautiful. She didn't end up crying at all, which, I mean, yeah, it was amazing. She was just observing. She's looking at Safi. She kept looking at Safi, and I can hear, you know, I hadn't checked the sex yet, and Matisse and Safi saw her first, and saw her genitals first, and they were like, oh, it's a girl. And I was like, oh, it's a girl. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, it's Safi. You have a baby sister. And oh, we were so happy. It was just amazing. And then I was naked because I didn't want to feel confined by anything. But also, I was also naked because I wanted that first connection for the baby to go immediately onto my naked chest. I didn't want there to be a bra or a piece of clothing or fabric in between me and the baby. I just wanted baby on me naked. Naked to get my oxytocin going, and to have that immediate connection. And that's exactly what happened. Within minutes of her coming out, she immediately was on the breast. I was immediately breastfeeding her. Which ironically, she is so smart. She knew that by breastfeeding, that would get my oxytocin going, and that would bring her the next baby out. So she started breastfeeding, and then quite soon after, I remember feeling, oh my God, I'm having another contraction. So, oh my God, I'm having another contraction, which was, you know, it's like I have to have a whole other baby. But the best part was I was so ready to have that next baby. I was like, come through. I just had a baby. I'm gonna have another baby right now. Yes, I'm so ready. I didn't feel discouraged or like, oh no, I don't want to do this at all. I was like, yeah, I just did that. I'm gonna do that again. It was awesome. It was the best part. Oh my God. And so I remember kind of being in another part of the pool at that point, and it all happened very quickly. And I put my hand down, and I pushed for a second, and immediately next baby is there. I'm like, baby's there. And I push again. It was like, oh, I know what to do. I just did this like 10 minutes ago. So I just push out the head again, like Venus flytrap. Like it's like heads out. And then I'm like, okay. And then I just wait. And then wait for the break. I'm taking my rest. And the next contraction, I push, and the whole baby comes out. And this time, the baby comes straight upwards, facing towards me. And I can see her eyes coming up from the water and making eye contact with her. And I'm like, oh my God, another baby. Oh man, it was epic. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then they're like, oh, it's another girl, 2 girls. Oh my God, 2 girls. Yes. Oh, Safi has 2 sisters. It's amazing. Oh my God, it's incredible. Like, we're just like in so much joy. My oxytocin's just like through the roof. Like, I'm so happy. And yeah, it was just epic. It was freaking epic. And she's just, they're both right on my chest. They're both, you know, looking for the nipple, wanting to breastfeed right away. Amazing signs. Oh, it was just so epic. It was so primal. It was so mammalian. It just felt so good. And Safi's there witnessing it. Matisse jumps in the water. Oh no, wait. Oh wait, that's what happened. So that was, I keep on missing these little parts of it. So after I had the first baby, Matisse actually took off his shirt. He jumps in the water with me, and he holds the first baby so that I can push the second baby out, so he's holding the first one. He's sort of holding her against my breast, and then second baby comes out. I'm holding the second baby. He's holding the first baby, and there we are in the water with our two babies. The next baby cried a little bit, but not very much. And we're there and we're just connecting. We're putting our foreheads together, which is what we did like the whole time. As like we always do that when we're going through something. Like, we're always like, okay, we can do this. We always put our heads together. We always go, we can do this. And we did it. And here we are. And then basically from there, we needed some help. And to get out of the bath, I was ready to get out, and we actually, my mother-in-law actually thought that we were going to the hospital for the birth, actually. And so we called her. She was downstairs like the whole time, and so she knew that it was happening in the house. And she actually said to Matisse at one point, she was like, because Matisse went down to get some more water, and she's like, you guys aren't going to the hospital, are you? And he was like, no. And then so she came up to help me get out of the water, because I'm like, you know, we've got two babies, the placenta's still in me, both of their cords are coming out of me. And she helped me get out, and we go over to the bed, and then, you know, I just remember like really, really just wanting the placenta to come out. Oh my God, it's not coming out. I was having contractions to get the placenta out, and it was just I was just so done with having the contractions. I'd been having them for so long. And then actually, crazy enough, 3 hours passed, and no, wait. And then, so yeah, it's not coming out. I'm kind of like standing up, trying to like pull it out. So the babies have woken up from their nap. So I've moved to my bed here. And it's so funny because with the point of the birth story that I'm sharing right now is basically exactly this. I was starting to breastfeed them both right after they were born. And then, yeah, just trying to get the placenta out, and I was done with it. Like, I kept saying to the placenta, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. Thank you for keeping these babies alive for the last 9 months.
Like, thank you, now go.
Thank you, now go. I'm done with you. Please be gone. I think it was because there was 2 placentas that it was just hard, like taking longer for it to come out. And then finally, I'd actually been taking a little bit of angelica root, and I actually, what got it out finally was I went into the washroom and I coughed. I went, which was so hard to do after like 16 hours of screaming. Basically, I'd completely lost my voice. And I just coughed, and then I squatted over like a pot a little bit, and I just yanked, and it just came out, and it was massive, 2 placentas that had fused together. It was so big. There's like blood everywhere, all over the floor. And yeah, it was just, oh my God, it was so amazing. And Safi's coming in being like, is that the placenta? And we're like, yeah. And my mother-in-law was on the bed with the 2 babies, which was so amazing to have her here to be able to like look after the babies, and just while I was like finishing up with the placenta. And then I remember feeling so ready to to get back in bed and to just be with the babies. And yeah, it felt so amazing. It was just like the best thing ever. Just like laid down right here where I am right now and just breastfed, and it was just so incredibly magical. It was exactly how I had envisioned it and more. It was just amazing. I honestly, like, it was incredible. Oh wait, I forgot a particular part. I keep on forgetting parts, but before the placenta came out, I remember that I kind of wanted the umbilical cords to stay attached to the placenta for as long as possible, but it was just getting too complicated because I really was just so done with the placenta, and I was so done with having contractions that we just waited for the cords to go white, and then we just, Matisse and I just like cut the, I think it was my mother-in-law and Safi actually cut the cords, and yeah, it was just like so incredibly epic and amazing and like so chill, and yeah, it was so amazing. Oh man, it was just so incredible. Safi's in the bed with us. You know, she's so excited. She has these like two beautiful little baby sisters, and yeah, we were just, oh man, it was just such an incredible epic experience. And I felt great after. Like, I was definitely on that like adrenaline rush for sure, but I felt really good, and I didn't tear at all. I felt amazing. I had no soreness, no nothing. It was as if nothing had happened. And yeah, I just like, oh yeah, I remember like just drinking lots of like warm fluids after, and eating warm foods, warm comforting foods. And we kind of like turned our bedroom into like a big like womb space, basically, just like low lights and darkness, and yeah, we just were us, like, oh man, it was so amazing, just us. And then we just like called up like our family members, and we were like, yeah, the babies are here, and they were like, what? Because like no one knew that we were planning to have a home birth, so everyone's like, no. We're like, yeah, they're here, and they're like, oh my god, I can't even believe it. We're like, yeah, we just did it. And then yeah, it was just like the most incredibly amazing experience. And yeah, that night they actually Elio actually slept through the night on the first night, and Rumi only woke up like once or twice, but it wasn't very much, so that was awesome. We were like, yeah, we're gonna like sleep so much, and then the next night they were like, we're gonna get the milk going, and then we didn't sleep so much. But it was just such an incredibly beautiful experience. I'm so grateful that I listened to my gut and I chose to do it my way, autonomously, and with my family, in my house, in my home, you know, in my safe environment where I felt safe and private and unobserved. That was exactly how I wanted this birth to be, and it was so magical. And this postpartum has been really, really incredible. We've had so much family help and support, so it's just been such an amazing experience. And I think that the birth, as hard as it was and as painful as it was, I really think that it's supposed to be like that. You know, I remember being like so scared of the pain, and now I realize that, you know, by avoiding that pain during my birth, with my first birth, I think that pain doesn't actually go away. It just comes up later in different forms. And this time, you know, this birthing time made me stronger to be, you know, the mother that I needed to become, to be the mother of 3 girls and twins. So it was, I can look back now and be like, wow, it's like that for a reason. It's like Mother Nature made it like that for a reason, you know? It just makes so much sense to me now. So yeah, it was an incredible experience. You pushing little baby. And yeah, I'm just very grateful that I worked so hard at pursuing my dream of having a twin home birth. So yeah, and I just love them so much, and yeah, it was just such an incredible experience. So that's that. Again, just sharing my experience. This isn't for anyone to take any kind of medical advice from. This is just how I wanted to birth my babies, and yeah, I'm so glad that you and yeah, here we are. So almost 3 months postpartum. They're almost not even newborns anymore, and it's just been the most incredible experience. So yeah, and I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to have Safia at the birth was for her transition, to be able to see where the babies came from. You know, it wasn't like we just went to the hospital and then came back a couple days later with 2 new babies and she's like, who are these people and where did they come from? She saw where they came from, and I think that that's helped her transition immensely, because she's just been so incredible with it, and it's been such an easy transition for us. So yeah, I think having the older kids at the birth is makes the transition so much easier, and it's really beautiful for kids to witness you know, where babies come from. It's reality, right? Are you pushing? Are you doing a poop? Are you doing a poopy? Anyways, thank you so much for watching and following our journey, and please subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao for now. Mwah!